My name is Ariel, and I run a small channel called Bookish English. Every week, my students ask me the same question. They say, "Can I really improve my English in 30 days?" They look at me with hope in their eyes. Some of them feel tired. Some of them feel afraid. Some of them think English is too big and too difficult. I always smile and tell them a simple truth. Yes, you can improve your English in 30 days, but you must do it the right way. Today, I will tell you a story. It is not a magic story. It is a real story about small steps, simple habits, and strong belief. This story is about a girl named Sarah and her 30-day journey with Bookish English. Sarah was not a bad student. She went to school every day. She did her homework. She watched English movies with subtitles. But when she tried to speak, her mind became empty. She forgot easy words. She felt nervous. Her heart beat fast. She thought, maybe English is not for me. One day she found my channel, Bookish English. She watched one video. Then she watched another. In one video I said, if you follow a simple plan for 30 days, you will see real change. Sarah stopped the video and said, 30 days is not too long. I can try. On day 1, Sarah made a promise to herself. She took a notebook and wrote, I will study English every day for 30 days. She did not write 3 hours. She did not write 5 hours. She wrote only 1 hour. 1 focused hour. That was her first smart step. Big goals are scary. Small goals are powerful. In the first week, I told her to focus only on input. Input means reading and listening, not grammar rules, not difficult exercises, just simple English every day. Sarah started reading short stories for beginners. The stories were easy. She understood almost all the words. When she saw a new word, she guessed the meaning from the sentence. She did not open the dictionary every minute. She wanted to enjoy the story. Every morning she read for 20 minutes. Every night she listened to a short English podcast. At first she did not understand everything, but she understood the main idea. That was enough. After 5 days, something small changed. She started thinking simple thoughts in English. She looked at her cup and thought, this is my coffee. She looked at the sky and thought, the weather is nice today. It was not perfect English, but it was English. On day 7, Sarah felt proud. She did not become fluent in 1 week, but she was not as afraid as before. She noticed that some words repeated again and again in stories. Words like problem, solution, important, change, believe. She learned them naturally. No pressure, no stress. In the second week, I told her to add speaking practice. Not long speeches, not difficult topics, just simple speaking every day. She started with 5 minutes. She looked at the mirror and talked about her day. She said, today I woke up at 7, I ate breakfast, I went to school. Her sentences were short. Sometimes she made mistakes, but she did not stop. At first she felt silly. She laughed at herself. But after a few days, speaking became easier. Her mouth moved faster. Her brain worked faster. She did not translate every word from her language. She tried to think directly in English. That was a big step. In the third week, Sarah added writing, only one small paragraph every day. She wrote about her dreams. She wrote about her family. She wrote about her favorite movie. Then she checked her writing. She corrected small mistakes. She learned from them. Writing helped her see her weak points. Speaking helped her feel more confident. Reading and listening filled her mind with new words. But not every day was easy. On day 18, Sarah felt tired. She had exams at school. She wanted to skip her English practice. She thought, one day does not matter. But then she remembered her promise. 30 days, no excuses. So she opened a short story and read for 10 minutes. Only 10 minutes. It was not a full hour. But it was something. And something is always better than nothing. Slowly, her fear became smaller. On day 22, her teacher asked a question in English class. Usually, Sarah looked down at her desk, but this time she raised her hand. Her voice was not loud, but it was clear. She answered in simple English. The teacher smiled. That smile gave her power. On day 25, she watched an English video without subtitles. She did not understand every word, but she understood the story. She felt excited. She thought, I am changing. Finally, day 30 arrived. Sarah opened her notebook and looked at her first promise. She remembered her fear. She remembered her empty mind. Now she was different. She was not perfect. She was not advanced. But she was stronger. She could speak for 10 minutes without stopping. She could read easy books without a dictionary. She could write short essays with confidence. On that day, she wrote one more sentence in her notebook. She wrote, 30 days can change your direction. Not your whole life, but your direction. And direction is very important. This is what I always tell my students at Bookish English. You do not need magic. You do not need talent. You need a clear plan. You need easy and fun materials. You need daily practice. And you need belief. If you give your English 1 honest hour every day for 30 days, you will see improvement. Maybe small improvement. Maybe big improvement, but you will not stay the same. This is only the beginning of the story. Sarah's journey did not end on day 30. Something even more interesting happened after that. After day 30, Sarah did something very important. She did not stop. Many people work hard for 1 month and then rest for 3 months. Then they say, English is difficult. I forget everything. Sarah understood one simple truth. English is like a plant. If you water it every day, it grows. If you stop, it becomes weak. So on day 31, she opened her notebook again. She wrote, Next 30 days, stronger English. Now her goal was different. In the first 30 days, she wanted to remove fear. In the next 30 days, she wanted to build confidence. Fear and confidence are not the same. When fear goes away, confidence can grow. But confidence needs action. In the 4th week of her journey, something new happened at school. Her English teacher asked the class to prepare a short presentation. The topic was simple. My future dream. Before, Sarah would feel nervous for many days. She would think about mistakes. She would imagine her classmates laughing. But now she felt a little calm. Not fully calm, just a little. And that little calm was enough. She prepared her presentation in a smart way. First, she wrote a short paragraph. Not long and complicated, just clear and simple sentences. Then she practiced speaking in front of the mirror. She recorded her voice on her phone. When she listened to her voice, she noticed small problems. Sometimes she spoke too fast. Sometimes she did not pronounce words clearly. She did not feel sad about this. She felt excited, because now she could see her mistakes. And when you see your mistakes, you can fix them. Presentation day arrived. Her hands were a little cold. Her heart beat faster, but she stood in front of the class and started speaking. Good morning. Today I want to talk about my future dream. Her voice was soft at first. Then it became stronger. She spoke for 3 minutes. She did not stop. She did not forget her words. When she finished, the class clapped. It was not a big applause, but it was real. Her teacher said, "Good job, Sarah. Your English is improving." That day changed her mindset. She realized something powerful. Improvement is not a feeling. It is a result of daily work. You may not feel different every day, but one day you look back and you see the change. At home, she continued her simple routine. 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of listening, 10 minutes of speaking, 10 minutes of writing, 1 hour, every day. Some days she felt motivated. Some days she felt lazy. But she followed the plan, not her mood. This was her secret. One evening, she decided to try something new. She joined an online English speaking group. At first, she only listened. People from different countries were there. Some spoke fast, some spoke slowly. She understood about 60%. That was enough. After a few sessions, she said a few sentences. Hello, my name is Sarah. I am from Pakistan. I am learning English with Bookish English. Her voice shook a little, but nobody laughed. In fact, one girl said, "Your English is clear." That small sentence gave her more courage. Sarah also changed the way she learned vocabulary. Before, she wrote long lists of words and tried to memorize them. It was boring. Now she learned words from stories and videos. When she saw a useful word, she wrote one example sentence. Not 10 sentences, just one good sentence. She reviewed these sentences every weekend. Slowly, the words became part of her natural language. In the second month, her listening became stronger. She started watching short interviews in English without subtitles. At first, she missed many words, but she did not stop the video every second. She focused on the main idea. After 2 weeks, she noticed she could understand more. Her brain was training itself. One day, her younger brother asked her for help with his English homework. Before, she avoided helping him. She felt she was not good enough. But now she sat next to him and explained simple grammar rules in easy English. When she explained, she understood the rules better herself. Teaching made her stronger. Sarah also learned something important about mistakes. In the past, Every mistake felt like a failure. Now she saw mistakes as steps. If she said, "He go to school," and someone corrected her, she did not feel embarrassed. She repeated the correct sentence, "He goes to school," and moved forward. No drama, no negative thinking. At the end of the second month, she decided to test herself. She took an online English level test. When she saw the result, she smiled. She moved from beginner to pre-intermediate level. It was not advanced. It was not perfect. But it was progress. Real progress. She went back to her first notebook page, the page where she wrote, "I will study English every day for 30 days." She touched the paper and felt proud, not because her English was perfect, but because she did not give up. On her wall, she wrote a new sentence in big letters. "Consistency beats talent." She understood this deeply now. Some students in her class were naturally good at English. They spoke fast. They used difficult words. But many of them did not practice daily. Sarah was not the most talented student, but she was consistent, and consistency changed her life. One evening, she watched a new video on bookish English. In the video, I said, "If you want to speak fluently, you must build your English life. Not just English study time, English life." Sarah thought about this idea. She decided to change small parts of her daily routine into English. She changed her phone language to English. She followed English pages on social media. She wrote her daily to-do list in English. These were small changes, but small changes create big results over time. After 3 months, her friends noticed something. They said, "Sarah, your English sounds different." She smiled. She did not say she was perfect. She just said, "I practice every day." But her journey was still not finished. A bigger challenge was waiting for her. A challenge that would test her confidence in a new way. 3 months passed, and Sarah felt stronger than before. But life always brings a new test. One afternoon, her school announced an English debate competition. The topic was simple, but serious. Is technology helping students learn better? Students could speak for 5 minutes. The best speaker would represent the school at a city event. When Sarah heard the announcement, her heart moved fast. Part of her felt excited. Another part felt afraid. Speaking in class was one thing. Speaking in a debate was something bigger. That evening, she sat quietly in her room. She looked at her notebook from the first 30 days. She remembered her old fear. She remembered how she could not speak 1 full minute without stopping. Now she could speak for 10 minutes. She asked herself a simple question. If I do not try, will I grow? The answer was clear. No. Growth needs courage. So the next day she wrote her name on the debate list. Preparation started immediately. This time she did not rush. She used the same system that helped her improve in 30 days. First, she read articles about technology and education. Not very difficult articles. She chose simple ones that she could understand. She underlined useful phrases like, "in my opinion," "on the other hand," "for example," and "as a result." She did not try to memorize the whole article. She focused on ideas and key sentences. Then she wrote her own speech. Short sentences, clear ideas. She divided her speech into 3 parts: introduction, main points, conclusion. She practiced speaking slowly. She recorded her voice again. When she listened, she noticed improvement. Her pronunciation was clearer. Her pauses were better. She sounded more natural. But something unexpected happened 3 days before the debate. During practice in front of her friend, she suddenly forgot her next sentence. Her mind became blank for a few seconds. That old fear came back. She felt her chest become tight. For a moment, she thought, maybe I am not ready. That night, she opened Bookish English and watched a video about handling speaking fear. In the video, I said, "Fluency is not about never stopping. Fluency is about continuing even after you stop." Sarah understood this deeply. Forgetting one sentence did not mean failure. It meant she needed better connection between ideas. The next day, she changed her method. Instead of memorizing every sentence, she memorized only keywords. For example, she wrote one word on a small card: access. That reminded her to talk about how technology gives students access to information. Another word was distraction. That reminded her to talk about social media problems. Keywords made her speech flexible. Now, if she forgot one sentence, she could create a new one. Debate day arrived. The classroom was full. Teachers sat in the front row. Students whispered and laughed. Sarah felt nervous. But this nervous feeling was different from before. It was not fear. It was energy. When her name was called, she walked to the front with steady steps. She started. "Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about technology and education." Her voice was calm. She looked at the audience, not at the floor. She spoke about online courses. She spoke about digital books. She also spoke about distraction and balance. At one moment, she forgot a sentence. For half a second, her mind stopped. But then she looked at her keyword card in her hand and continued. Nobody noticed the pause. When she finished, there was strong applause. Not polite applause. Real applause. Her teacher looked proud. Later that day, the results were announced. Sarah did not win first place. She won second place. For a few seconds, she felt small disappointment. She wanted to win, but then she smiled. 3 months ago, she would not even join the competition. Now she stood on stage and spoke for 5 minutes in English. That was a bigger victory. This debate changed something deep inside her. She no longer saw English as a school subject. She saw it as a tool to share ideas, a tool to express opinions, a tool to connect with people. After the competition, something interesting happened. A new student joined her class. His name was Ali. He struggled with English. He avoided speaking. He looked at his desk when the teacher asked questions. Sarah saw herself in him. One day, she sat next to him and said, "If you want, I can share a simple 30-day plan." Ali looked surprised. "You can help me." She nodded. "Yes, I was like you." She explained reading easy stories, listening daily, speaking in front of a mirror, writing small paragraphs, 1 hour a day, no excuses. Ali listened carefully. He said, "It sounds simple." Sarah smiled. "It is simple, but you must be consistent." Helping Ali made her stronger again. She realized that teaching others is also learning. When Ali improved, she felt proud, not only of him, but of herself, because she now had the confidence to guide someone else. Months passed. Sarah's English kept improving. She started reading longer novels. She started watching movies without subtitles. She started thinking about studying at university in another country. This dream felt possible now. Not easy, but possible. One evening, she sat quietly and reflected on her journey. She asked herself, what really changed in 30 days? It was not just vocabulary. It was not just grammar. It was her belief. Before, she believed English was too difficult. After 30 days, she believed improvement was possible. And belief changes action. Action changes results. She opened her notebook again and wrote a final message. Improve your English in 30 days. Start small. Stay consistent. Do not fear mistakes. Trust the process. Her story is not about talent. It is not about magic. It is about simple daily habits. It is about courage to start. It is about not quitting on day 18 when you feel tired. It is about standing up again after forgetting one sentence. And this is what I always say on Bookish English. 30 days will not make you perfect, but 30 days can change your path. If you walk on that new path every day, 1 year later, you will not recognize your old self. This is still not the end of Sarah's journey. A bigger opportunity is waiting for her outside her city. One morning, Sarah's English teacher called her after class. The teacher said, "Sarah, there is a youth conference in Islamabad next month. Students from different schools will come. The program will be in English. I want you to represent our school." For a moment, Sarah could not speak. A conference in another city, speaking English with strangers. This was bigger than a classroom debate. When she reached home, she told her parents. Her mother smiled with pride. Her father said, "If you believe you are ready, then go." Sarah went to her room and sat quietly. She looked at the wall where she had written, "Consistency beats talent." She remembered her first 30 days. She remembered reading easy stories and speaking to the mirror. That small start had brought her here. She decided to accept the opportunity. The conference topic was Young Leaders and Global Communication. Students would join group discussions and share ideas. There would be no memorized speech this time. Everything would be natural conversation. That idea made her nervous again. In a speech, you control your words. In a discussion, anything can happen. So she prepared in a different way. She did not write a full script. She practiced answering common questions. She stood in front of the mirror and asked herself, why is English important for young leaders? Then she answered in simple sentences. She practiced phrases like, I agree with you. That is an interesting point, and, in my experience, she focused on communication, not perfection. She also increased her listening practice. Every evening she listened to interviews with young people from different countries. She paid attention to how they expressed opinions. She noticed they did not use very complicated grammar. They used clear ideas. This gave her confidence. Finally, the day of the conference arrived. She traveled to Islamabad with her teacher and 2 other students. When she entered the large hall, she saw many confident faces. Students spoke English fluently. Some had international accents. For a moment, she felt small again. A voice inside her said, "Maybe you are not good enough." But then another voice answered, "You have worked for this. You have practiced every day." She took a deep breath and joined her discussion group. The first activity was simple. Each student had to introduce themselves and talk about their goals. When it was her turn, she said, "Hello, my name is Sarah. I am learning English with daily practice. My goal is to use English to connect with people around the world." Her voice was steady. One girl from another school smiled and said, "That is inspiring." That small reaction relaxed her. During the group discussion, different opinions came quickly. Some students spoke very fast. At first, Sarah could not catch every word, but she remembered her listening training. She focused on the main idea. When she did not understand something, she politely said, "Could you please repeat that?" Nobody judged her. They repeated it kindly. She realized that communication is teamwork. At one point, the group discussed social media and leadership. Sarah shared her opinion. She said, "Social media can help young leaders share ideas, but we must use it wisely. Too much distraction can reduce productivity." Her sentences were simple, but they were clear. The group nodded. One student even wrote down her point. That moment gave her strong confidence. After lunch, there was a surprise activity. Students had to work in pairs and present a short solution to a problem. Sarah's partner was a confident boy who spoke very fast English. At first, she worried she would not keep up, but she remembered her keyword method from the debate. They quickly discussed their idea and wrote short notes. During the presentation, she spoke calmly. She did not try to use difficult words. She focused on meaning. When the conference ended, the organizers gave certificates to all participants, but they also gave special recognition to a few students for strong communication skills. When they called Sarah's name, she felt shocked. She walked to the stage and received the certificate. It was not about perfect grammar. It was about clear expression and confidence. On the way back home, she looked out of the bus window and thought deeply. Only a few months ago, she was afraid to speak one sentence. Now she spoke in a city conference. What changed? The answer was simple. Daily action, small steps, 30 days of foundation, then more days of practice. When she returned to school, her classmates asked her about the conference. She shared her experience. Even her English teacher looked impressed. That day, she understood something powerful. English was no longer her weakness. It was becoming her strength. At night, she opened her notebook again. She wrote a new goal. Next challenge, international exam. She did not feel afraid of big goals anymore. She knew the secret. Break the goal into 30 days. Focus on daily habits. Improve step by step. She also sent a message to the bookish English community online. She wrote, "If I can improve in 30 days, you can too." Start small. Read daily. Listen daily. Speak daily. Write daily. Do not wait for perfect time. Many students replied. Some said they were starting their own 30-day journey. Sarah smiled when she read their messages. She realized her journey was not only about herself anymore. It was about inspiring others, the same way bookish English inspired her. But life always moves forward. Soon she would face her biggest test yet, an international scholarship interview in English. This challenge would test not only her language, but her confidence and personality. Her story is still growing. A few weeks after the conference, Sarah received an email that made her hands shake. She had been selected for an international scholarship interview. The interview would be fully in English. There would be 3 interviewers. They would ask about her goals, her leadership experience, and her future plans. When she read the email, she felt proud and afraid at the same time. This was not a classroom activity. This was real life. She sat quietly on her bed and thought about her journey. She remembered day 1. She remembered reading easy stories and speaking simple sentences in front of the mirror. She remembered forgetting words and feeling embarrassed. Now she was preparing for an international interview. The distance between those 2 moments felt unbelievable, but she did not allow fear to control her. She opened her notebook and wrote a new 30-day plan. Even though the interview was only 3 weeks away, she believed in the power of structure. She divided her preparation into small daily tasks. In the first week, she focused on content. She wrote answers to common interview questions. Tell us about yourself. Why do you deserve this scholarship? What are your future goals? She did not copy answers from the internet. She wrote honest answers in simple English. She talked about her improvement journey. She talked about how daily practice changed her mindset. She talked about leadership through consistency. In the second week, she focused on speaking naturally. She practiced with her teacher after school. Her teacher asked difficult questions on purpose. Sometimes Sarah felt stuck. Sometimes she searched for words. But instead of stopping, she learned to explain ideas in another way. If she forgot one word, she described it. She learned that communication is not about knowing every word. It is about delivering meaning. She also recorded mock interviews at home. She watched her body language. She noticed when she looked down too much. She noticed when she spoke too fast. Slowly, she improved these small details. She stood straighter. She smiled more. She paused between ideas. In the final week, she practiced staying calm. Every morning she closed her eyes for 5 minutes and took deep breaths. She imagined herself sitting confidently in the interview room. She imagined answering questions clearly. This mental practice made her feel ready. Interview day arrived. She wore simple and neat clothes. Her hands were cold again, but this time she understood her nervousness. It was not weakness. It was energy. When her name was called, She walked into the room with steady steps. 3 interviewers greeted her politely. She smiled and greeted them back. The first question was simple. "Tell us about yourself." She began calmly. She spoke about her school, her interests, and her English journey. She explained how she followed a 30-day plan to improve her English. One interviewer looked interested and asked, "What made you stay consistent?" She answered honestly, "At first I was afraid of English, but I realized fear does not disappear alone. It disappears with action, so I decided to act every day." Her voice was clear. Her words were simple but strong. Another interviewer asked a difficult question. "What will you do if you face failure in the future?" For a second, she paused. She remembered her debate competition where she won second place. She remembered forgetting a sentence during practice. She smiled slightly and said, "Failure is feedback. When I forget a word or lose a competition, I learn what to improve. Then I try again." The interview lasted 20 minutes. When it finished, she felt light. She did not know the result, but she knew one thing. She gave her best. She walked out of the building with a quiet confidence. 2 weeks later, the email arrived. She opened it slowly. Her eyes moved across the screen. She had won the scholarship. For a moment, she could not breathe. Then tears filled her eyes. She ran to her parents and showed them the email. They hugged her with pride. That night she sat alone with her notebook one last time. She read her first promise. "I will study English every day for 30 days. She smiled softly. 30 days did not make her fluent. 30 days did not make her perfect, but 30 days started everything. She wrote her final message on a new page. Improve your English in 30 days. Start with 1 hour a day. Read easy books, listen daily, speak without fear, write simple paragraphs, stay consistent, believe in slow progress, continue after 30 days. Sarah's story is not about magic talent. It is about simple daily habits. It is about courage to start when you feel weak. It is about not quitting when you feel tired on day 18. It is about standing again after forgetting one word. It is about turning fear into fuel. Through bookish English, she found guidance. Through her own effort, she found growth. English became more than a subject. It became a bridge to opportunities. It became a key to new doors. And now, when someone asks her, "Can I really improve my English in 30 days?" she smiles the same way Ariel smiles in his videos. She answers with confidence, "Yes. If you give 1 honest hour every day. Yes. If you stay consistent. Yes. If you believe that small steps create big change." Her journey continues, because learning never truly ends. But she is no longer the girl who looks down at her desk in silence. She is a young leader who speaks with clarity and courage. This is the full story of improving English in 30 days. And maybe this is also the beginning of your story.